week. But if you had to go past that horse, how about Halo Sunshine? He's an accomplished type in from the West Coast. Looked good here at Bay Meadows, winning the Golden State Derby. He's kept some fancy company out west with the likes of Honor and Glory et al., and he's a major contender in this race. But I think as we look at the form, Norm, you and I would agree that we're looking and kind of combing our way around for that upset, long shot, bombs away special today.
The weird thing is we each independently came up with the same bomb. Out of the one-hole Jewel Road, it's only won once. It's a sprinter, but it's been working brilliantly. I checked its dosage index. It has a dosage index of 1, meaning it's bred to run from Hot Springs to Louisville.
Well, he'll be 30-1 in the morning line, and I thank you for checking that dosage, so that'll give us an edge, I'm sure, with that long shot. That's the way it looks, Chris. Back to you.
All right, fellas, you know we always try to keep you up to date on the Kentucky Derby Future Book from Caesars Palace, Las Vegas. Well, Caesars has come to us today. Vinny Miliolo, the man who sets the odds, is here at Keeneland. We asked him for an update. Vinny?
This year's Wood Memorial Prohibitive Favorite Unbridled Song opened at a very hefty 15-1 in our Future Book last November. Down still at the favorite, 2-1. Some of the other notables from the big races today here at Keeneland in the Bluegrass Stakes. Draw opened at 60-1, currently at 25. Editor's note, 30-1, currently 7-1. Up in the Wood Memorial Feather Box, open 150-1, still a very attractive 100-1. And over in the Arkansas Derby, some very big prices initially. Blowout 55, currently 25. Grindstone 85-1, been bet down to 15-1, and Pugnacious 75, now 20-1 in the Future Book.
Hopefully we could keep it going. You know, last year in the Derby we finished 11th, but Suave Prospect was second in the Bluegrass, and we have a lot of luck here, and hopefully we have 2 good chances.
Zito's best chance would seem to be with this gray colt, Diligence, owned by the New York Yankees' George Steinbrenner, winner of the recent Unbridled Stakes.
Well, Diligence is a super cool horse. He's done everything right. I don't think you have to give any kind of pump up for him. You don't have to build him up at all. He's 3 for 3 this winter. Again, he ran with some competitive horses. He did it the right way. It's time to try to march towards the big dance.
Louis Couture's, Nick's other Bluegrass starter, runs for famed breeder Georgia Hoffman, along with his 2-time Kentucky Derby winning owners, Bill Condren and Joe Carnaccia.
He was a top 2-year-old last year. I think he was 4th or 5th on the experimental handicap, which is pretty good. There were only Unbridled Song, Hennessy, and Cobra King, whatever, just a few in front of him. And he was second in the Hopeful to Hennessy. He was second to Maria's Mom, I believe, in the Futurity. He broke his maiden at Saratoga, which is always tough to do. Beat a horse called Beef Chopper, I think was running Arkansas Derby. So he was a top 2-year-old.
But many have questioned Zito about running his 2 stable stars against each other today.
Well, you know, Chris, for me, the ultimate race is the Kentucky Derby. You know, I always say you give up a lot of things personally, and I just shoot for one thing in life, and that's the Kentucky Derby, and that's what I live for, period. And I think this year, the best chance for us to do well in the Derby is to come here, and that's to run both horses in the Bluegrass.
Diligence got a designer trip on the front end with very moderate fractions at the Unbridled Stakes, but at the finish, Draw had drawn within a length and a quarter of him. If Diligence gets, as expected, a lot more heat for the front today, that could benefit the stalker Draw.
A little handicapping tip. You know, Shug McGahee, who trains Draw, likes to work his horses 3 furlongs the day before a race. He worked Draw here yesterday at Keeneland, 34 and change breezing, showing that he is very sharp. He may be the best bred colt in the race, so he's a contender.
At the Unbridled Stakes, McGahee saw that horse Draw again swerve dramatically in the stretch.
He set in 4, 5, 6 lengths in behind there, and he finished up fine. And I've had a problem with him all the time with he wants to duck from the whip, and it's not being hit. It's when the rider draws the whip, and he'll take a look at it. He did it 2 races before the Unbridled in a lounge race and ducked out in the middle of the racetrack where he finished 3rd. And then the other day in the Unbridled, he did it again like at the 16th hole or something.
McGahee's been patiently waiting for Draw to mature. Today he chooses Pat Day to ride, believing that Day's style of being very sparing with the whip will not spoil this child. But I know you're leaning another direction from Draw.
Yeah, you know, all the wise guys here at Keeneland says you can't bet a horse off the pace. You must go with front-running speed types. But I have a fancy for editor's note today. He's trained by Wayne Lucas. He made a sensational run to Unbridled Song to finish second in the Florida Derby. I think that has been the best 3-year-old prep race to date thus far. He's a bit of a rogue. He's not a particularly good starter. I don't think that will hurt him today. Gary Stevens will just take him up out of the gate and angle him towards the rail. And I look for this horse to make a big run in the stretch, let the speed kind of mix it up, and come on down the lane.
Does it worry you he hasn't won in 6 races, and that this is the 14th race of his career already, that he might be getting a little used up?
Not for Wayne Lucas, no. He is just warming up with 14 races for Wayne.
Chris, back to you.
Well, we've touched on the Florida Invaders. We've got one to talk about from the West Coast in Cimarron. The Umbrellas are up at Keeneland. What do they say? April showers bring May flowers. We're thinking about roses here. Look at Diligence now at 4-1. The favorite role goes to, but a surprise, Team Lucas at 5-2. Editors note. Let's go back to Norm Hitzkiss now in the paddock.
Chris, the conditioner of Cimarron, Bob Baffert, currently ranks in the top 3 of Santa Anita's trainer standings. But he's a rookie here at the Bluegrass Stakes. But those with real good memories may recall his visit to these parts several springs ago. It was 6 years ago that Bob Baffert first brought a horse to Keeneland with the Kentucky Derby on his mind. But a distant third-place finish in the mile and a 16th Lexington Stakes provided a dose of reality.
It was my, I was a first contest kid. I had the Super Derby fever. I mean, couldn't sleep at night, and I really didn't know, just new in the business, and had a great horse, but I just had him in the wrong distance.
Wrong distance indeed. 2.5 years later, 30 Slews found his niche, winning the 6-furlong Breeders' Cup Sprint. Baffert has since taken great pains to avoid that dreaded Derby fever. That is, until Cavanier won at Santa Anita last weekend.
This year I sort of kept myself pretty cool and calm, and I really wasn't, the Derby fever never hit me, and everybody was asking me, you got to have it? I said, I don't have it yet, because I know the disappointments when you're coming up to a race and your horse gets hurt or something. So, but when that horse turned for home and exploded down the lane and hit the wire, I said, oh my God, the fever hit going to the winner's circle.
And this week, Baffert hopes his temperature goes right through the roof as his Remington Park Derby winner Cimarron contests the Bluegrass.
Cimarron is, he's handy, he's a little horse, but he's handy, and I think he has great stamina. His breeding might not suggest that because he's by Phone Trick, who basically throws sprinters, but he's a little horse that has always shown us a lot of talent, and he can relax, and I think he can run all day long also, and I was very excited about him. He just opened up on him, he got through a hole, he bulled his way through. He doesn't get intimidated by other horses.
And likewise, the trainer is no longer intimidated by the task at hand.
I feel real confident right now that I haven't had any, we haven't hit any snags in our program yet on the Derby trail, and the horses seem to be peaking at the right time, so really just keeping our fingers crossed.
Well, those of you watching in the Bay Area and those of you who play simulcast, very possible, popular now around the country, know this guy well. Russell Bays is the king of the Bay Area. He's 3-5 or 4-5 and almost every horse he rides, but you come in here today as a bit of a long shot. Tell us about your chances in the Bluegrass.
Well, this little horse is going to run his race. We shouldn't have any problem. He's got good tactical speed, and it's just going to be a question of whether he's good enough, I think.
Never tackled other colts like these, I would say.
No, but he's done everything we've asked him to so far, so, if he can step up to the task today, it wouldn't surprise me at all.
All right, what about Russell Bays in riding here in the East? You're, except for the simulcast players and the Bay Meadows guys, you're a well-kept secret, yet you won over 400 races the last 4 years, an Eclipse Award. Russell, what did it mean to you to win that award last year?
Well, I was extremely honored to win it, and surprised. I just couldn't believe, that they'd singled me out for something like that. And probably the accomplishments I've made in the last 4 years will hit me later on down the road, but right now, I'm just doing my job.
And it boggles my mind when I think of all the races that you've won over all the years. You've never, ever had a mount in the run for the Roses. Is that going to change this year?
I am certainly hoping it will.
He hopes it will on Cimarron today in the Bluegrass Stakes. Chris?
Russell Bays, one of America's great kept racing secrets. What a talented rider there. We'll be back with more of our coverage. We're waiting for the horses to come to the track here for the post-parade as you look at Skip Away from Sonny Hines' barn.
We gave him a lot of winners. I did. I don't think you did.
Made a few bucks for him anyway.
We did.
And now we're back today. This is no easy pickings today here at Keeneland.
I think this is a very well-matched field. You only got 7 going, but actually, any of the 7 wins, I couldn't say I'm shocked.
Any of the 7, we're going out on a limb again. Any of the 7 wins. How about that?
I wouldn't say I was shocked if any of them won, would you?
Well, I'll tell you, I know you're the king of Keeneland. This is your territory. I come in here, you're driving a fancy car, people following you up to the windows left and right, so they want to know who's it going to be today.
Well, I hate to do it and pick a favorite, but I'll tell you what, this track has
another favorite.
This track has really been favoring speed. Today, all through the meet, it's been favoring speed. The track's been lightning fast. We had maidens, 3-year-old maidens go 15-1 in the second race.
Let's get to it, Mike. You're burying the lead. As
Diligence. Diligence. I'm going to go for him. He's got the speed. As a matter of fact, I like a Zito over Zito Exacta.
Is that a pasta dish or what is that?
That's it.
Okay.
Zito over Zito.
Okay, I thought you were giving me some menu for tonight.
Zito over Zito.
Meal here.
What do you like?
Diligence has lost to Editor's Note twice, as I recall, correct?
As a 2-year-old. Those don't count, but go ahead.
They don't count?
No.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, they count. He beat him twice, so beat him again today. Editor's Note to win the Bluegrass and My Exacta will be completed by Skippy. Peanut butter?
You got it.
Trial?
Skip away.
Skip away.
Enough.
There you go.
3rd and 4th.
Good luck.
Oh, look at Editor's Note, the favorite right now at 2-1, and Bobby looks like he's kind of frisky in the paddock as riders are up.
Well, this is not totally uncharacteristic for this 3-year-old. We told you that he is a little tough to handle, but he's feeling good. He's bucking and squealing down here in the paddock. I had a good chance to look at all of the 3-year-olds, and physically I'm particularly impressed with Louis Couture's. He just gleamed of excellent color in his coat, and I look for Louis just on appearance handicapping to run a nice race today in the Bluegrass. But as they say, appearances can deceive. This is not a Miss America contest. They win it on the racetrack. Chris, back to you.
And as they call to the post, we will take a look at the Visa 3-year-old Championship Series points. Unbridled's Song, of course, off his Florida Derby and on top at 20. There you see the first and second place finishers, the Santa Anita Derby next. Rora won the Jim Beam, Romano Gucci, who won the Gotham. And, of course, 45 points available today across the country in the 3 Grade 2 Derby preps. That's the update on the Visa 3-year-old Championship points. We're set for the post parade for the 1996 $700,000 Toyota Bluegrass. The 1-horse Louis Couture still looking for his first stakes win, but has only been off the board twice in 7 starts. A $225,000 Keeneland purchase. Hall of Famer Chris McCarron has the assignment, won the Santa Anita Derby last week. Ensign Ray the 2, a pace setter who ran second, beaten just a length and a half by Roar in our Jim Beam show. Badly beaten in the Florida Derby, though. Willie Martinez, the winningest rider in Kentucky last year, has the assignment. The 3, the morning line favorite, but has fallen off in favoritism now. Diligence from George Steinbrenner's stable. Has not lost in 3 starts this year. He likes to run up front. Eddie De La Jose, the Hall of Famer, and a 5-time Keeneland riding champion, has the assignment. The 4 is Draw, coming off a bullet work here. Last week was second to Diligence in the Unbridled. A new rider today in Pat Day, the Hall of Fame rider, 2-time winner of the Bluegrass, 12-time Keeneland riding champion. The 5 is Skip Away, big, strong, gray colt from Carolyn and trainer Sonny Hines stable. 3rd in the tough Florida Derby trip, coming off bullet works, though, here and at Gulfstream. Shane Sellers, winner of riding titles at Keeneland and Churchill last year, will be the pilot today. The 6 is Cimarron from Bobby Baffert's stable, Remington Park Derby winner, perfect 4 for 4 this year. And, of course, Team Baffert won last week's Santa Anita Derby. Russell Bays, who you met earlier, is in the irons this afternoon. And rounding out the field, and right now the race favorite at 2-1. This is Editor's Note from Overbrook Farm and Team Lucas. One of possibly 5 D-Wayne Lucas 3-year-olds headed to the Derby. He was second to Unbridled's Song in the Florida Derby, but he has not won since last September. $125,000 purchase right here at Keeneland. Gary Stevens, the rider, just nominated to Racing's Hall of Fame. There they are, 7 to go. The purse, $434,000 to the winner. Again, all those dollars, $700,000 Toyota Bluegrass at Keeneland. We'll wrap up all the action, though, the big thoroughbred, quarter horse, and harness action for you on the Racehorse Digest. Join us Wednesday, 4:30 on ESPN. Now let's update the odds presented by Autotote here at the track. Editor's note, still maintain the favorites role here, and you see also support for the 3-horse Diligence as well as Skip Away at 7 to 2. But take note of this, the last 10 runnings of the Bluegrass have produced some big prices, an average of $19.20 winners. So Norm Hitzges, we're looking for a price horse here for this running of the Bluegrass in the Budweiser Long Shot.
Budweiser long shot is Cimarron, the only horse in the field to win 2 races with purses of $100,000 or more. 3 weeks ago, we'd have never touted this horse in the Bluegrass. He looked like just another candidate to get cooked in an early speed duel. But at Remington Park, this former early flyer learned to rate, actually dropping to last in the 5-horse field, then showing outstanding courage, charging through tight quarters on the turn for home, shaking off some significant bumping and drawing off to win impressively. Today, in a race where there might be lots of competition for the early lead, look for Cimarron and his newfound style to come running late as our Bluegrass Stakes Bud Long Shot.
There is the Budweiser Long Shot is Skip Away, and he right now on the board listed as 4 to 1. Skip Away trained by Sonny Heim, the colorful one from Florida. First time he's ever run a horse here at Keeneland. We had a chance to ask Sonny Heim earlier about the colt's problems, though, when he ran 3rd in the Florida Derby.
He sort of slow rode him out of the gate, and the field came in on him, and they backed up into him, and he's a big, long striding horse, and he was forced to cramp him real bad in the first turn, and then he realized he might go down if he went over top of anybody, and he just snatched him out of there to the right, and he bumped a couple horses, but he did finally get out of there. And he made a run, and he sort of hung, and probably due to bad racing luck that he wasn't second, and on top of that, I probably undertrained him for the race.
All right, Bob and Norm have some comments. You look at Skip Away at 4 to 1, and I don't know, Bob, I kept looking for that trouble of Skip Away in the Florida Derby. Where was it?
I think it was in the minds of the trainer there, Chris. But what shocks me about the betting of this race is how much respect Cimarron is getting at 5 to 1. I don't know whether this is Bob Baffert mania carrying over from his win on Cavalier, but 5 to 1, I just threw him out.
Bob, what do you think about the early pace? That's obviously critical here. How about Skip Away coming out and pressing Diligence?
I think it's tough to read. I think we do know that this one, editor's note, will be taken back to last. He'll be gathered back, and Gary will make one run on the turn. As for the pace, Norm, it's tough to read because most of these horses either want to be on the lead or they want to be pressing the lead. So now the start becomes important and position in the turn becomes important.
Let me suggest to you we might be able to run this race 5 times and get 5 slightly different strategies from this field.
Excellent value on Louis Quatorze at 8 to 1 from the rail, and I think there's nice value on a horse like Draw at 5 to 1, even Skip Away at 4 to 1. Editor's note is the favorite. No real shock there. A nice second to Unbridled Song.
No, and editor's note carrying the flag of the Lucas. Is that his top horse for the Derby? Let's go back to Chris.
Quick note, 3 of the last 4 Bluegrass races have been won wire to wire, including last year Wild Sim when he paid $62.40 in that shocker. We'll go to the top of the stands now. The voice of Kentucky racing. Here's Mike Battaglia.
Thanks, Chris. And they're moving into the gate. There goes Skip Away, waiting for Cimarron. And editor's note will be ready to go. The 76th running of what is now the Toyota Bluegrass Stake, the 72nd running. Having a little trouble now with Cimarron. Cimarron hesitates just a bit. The others are standing well. 2 to 1 right now on editor's note, 3 to 1 on Diligence. And we got 4 to 1 on Skip Away. A pair of 5 to 1s, Draw and Cimarron. Cimarron still having some problems. Now he's in the gate, waiting just for editor's note. We'll be ready to go. There goes editor's note. They're at the post. All in line, and they're off. Diligence between horses. Cimarron up on the outside is next, then Louis Quatorze, followed by Draw and Editor's Note into the first turn. Ensign Ray is in front, has it by a length, skip away to the outside second, down along the inside, Diligence third ahead, Cimarron is fourth. And it's a length and a half back. Through from the inside in fifth, that is a Draw. Also up from the inside, Louis Quatorze and the trailer, Editor's Note. Onto the back stretch. On the outside, Skip Away puts ahead in front, Ensign Ray on the inside. Those two now right together. Then a gap of 2.5. Louis Quatorze is third ahead, Diligence is fourth ahead. Cimarron on the outside runs fifth, two back to Draw and Editor's Note. As they move forward the turn, Ensign Ray with the head in front. Skip Away second, Louis Quatorze on the inside third ahead. Diligence is fourth, Cimarron runs fifth. Then it's Draw and Editor's Note still trails. As they move into the turn, it's Skip Away, now getting the lead. Skip Away in front, draws off by 2 lengths. Louis Quatorze moves into second. On the outside, Diligence third. Editor's Note into fourth. Into the stretch, it's Skip Away in front. Has it now by 3 lengths. On the inside, in second, that's Louis Quatorze. Up on the outside, gaining ground, Editor's Note, but nearing the wire, it's Skip Away. Just drawing away from this field. Skip Away, an impressive winner of the Bluegrass over Louis Quatorze and Editor's Note. Just the easiest kind of win for Skip Away. Shane Sellers keeps him right back off of the early pace. When he asks him to run, he goes right by Ensign Ray and just was impressive in the stretch. They could have gone a long way. They weren't going to catch Skip Away this afternoon. Sellers rode a perfect race. Sonny Hine had this horse in just top shape. Running time for the Bluegrass, the 1 1/8. 1:47.1. Excellent time. 1:47.1.
Skip Away, our unofficial winner, and now he joins a group here of now 5 Bluegrass winners that have been gray going back to 1945. Pretty good grays include, well, Spectacular Bit 79, Pistols and Roses 92, Holy Bull in 19...
Will make a belated move, but this Bluegrass Stakes is owned by Skip Away. And what strikes me about the finish of this race is that the Florida Derby looks like such a key race with Unbridled Song ready to go in the wood, that Editor's Note, who ran second in that race, third today, that Skip Away, who ran third, wins that race, and that Louis Quatorze, who ran fourth, runs second. So finishers 2, 3, 4 in the Florida Derby run 1, 2, 3 here in the Bluegrass. Chris?
All right, and I see down below at the winner's circle, Norm Hitzges with losing rider Gary Stevens with Editor's Note. Norm?
I'm with Gary Stevens, the rider of Editor's Note, who came up to get third. Describe your trip, first of all.
Well, Norm, it was a pretty useful race for him. We used him a little more than he probably likes to be used early, but the way this racetrack plays for this race, you've got to be close to the pace. And, you know, a lot of people are saying it's a prep race for the Derby, but we raced for $700,000 today, and we wanted a big portion of it. The colt ran good, and it should set him up good for the Derby.
Down the stretch, he did get up to third. Did you feel when you looked at the track this day that you'd have trouble coming down the stretch as you're moving wide here to pick up third?
Well, like I say, we took him a little bit out of his running style. We were, you know, not too far off the pace. I had to use him a little bit early to keep him in the race, and he just ran real even with me throughout the race. He didn't give me a big kick at the end, but you kind of figure that when you change a horse's running style and keep him a little closer. But we had to do that today, and like I say, it should set him up really well for the Derby.
Good luck. Have a good time at the Derby.
Thank you, Norm.
That's Gary Stevens, the writer of Editor's Note. Back to you, Chris Lincoln.
Let's make it official now. The Toyota Bluegrass Stakes at Keeneland. And the big punch of that $700,000 prize goes to Skip Away. And he returns nicely, 11:20, 6:20 and 380. Louis Quatorze at 9:40 and 580. And you just heard from Gary Stevens. Editor's Note, 280 running time, 1:47.1. Let's go to Bob now.
With the winning connections, Shane Sellers, the rider, and Sonny Hine is the trainer. And let's talk to Sonny first of all. And I guess that you made an announcement far and wide for all to hear that you were going to win today and you were going to win big.
Yeah, well, he had a bad trip in the Florida Derby, and I undertrained him for the Florida Derby. And I told everybody it was only his second start of the year. And I kept giving Shane hell in the mornings. I said, you're not letting him work fast, even though he's going in 12s. So we got the race in him and put a couple good works in him, and Shane did the rest.
So you're telling us you're not surprised by this?
Not at all. I told everybody around me, I said I wouldn't be surprised if he won by 8 or 10.
Shane, your thoughts on this race?
Again, I'm not surprised. I mean, I said going into the Florida Derby, I wouldn't trade this horse for any horse in the race, and I meant it. He was training as good as any horse I've ever been on, and
Secreto de Estado, the Panamanian horse, 40 to 1 on Harrowman, 19 to 1 on Featherbox, and 13 to 1 on In Contention. Well, they have come here by bus, by automobile, but being New Yorkers, a lot of them have come by subway. That's right, the subway train will take you right to the track. And there is the horse that they have come to see this afternoon. Well, hello, I'm Jim McKay reporting from Aqueduct, where Unbridled Song dominates this field for the wood like a colossus today. His performance in the Florida Derby sent several of his top opponents to other racetracks today, principally to Keeneland in Kentucky, where they raced in the Bluegrass Stakes just a few minutes ago. And who won? Well, let's take a look at the stretch run and find out. This is the Bluegrass this afternoon, and that is Skip Away, pulling away from his field in the stretch. He was third in the Florida Derby, 7.5 lengths behind Unbridled Song, but this time he was roaring to a new stakes record, 147 1/5 for the 1 1/8 at Keeneland, winning the race by 6 lengths, trained by Sonny Hine and owned by the trainer's wife. So Skip Away will go to Churchill Downs. As you see the prices there, he will go as one of the favorites, but he'll still have to beat Unbridled Song. And for more on that story, here is Charles E. Canby.
Well, Jim, only a few are daring to challenge Unbridled Song, and there was some concern that his biggest competitor might have been himself. His pre-race behavior in Florida was a little off. He got rattled before a few starts, but it cost him, and now he seems to be much more composed. It's a problem that seems to be improving with experience, and here he is coming over earlier today on the way to the paddock, perfectly calm, perfectly laid back. He's been stabled right here at Aqueduct, so he's been schooled in the paddock, and he's familiar with the surroundings. He was good here in the paddock. He's feeling a little good out there on the racetrack. We can see him just approaching the starting gate now, but I think he's anxious to get on with it more than just nerves.
Perhaps overall his emotional problems. we will see. Well, Dave Johnson is with us as always, and he has a story about another horse and his trainer. A trainer looking for his first big win, but no stranger to the winner's circle.
Well, Jim, it's Angel Cordero Jr. At age 53, he's now a trainer, and he saddles a horse for the first time in the wood. This is a race, though, he knows very well. He rode in it 24 times and won it on 4 occasions.
I want to talk to you. This is at Roses. They give this when you win the Kentucky Derby. They put a blanket on you, and then I get a few and I give away. Do you think you could do that for me? You gotta win Saturday first.
A big wish for Cordero, a trainer only 4 years, but as a jockey with more than 7,000 victories, he won the Run for the Roses 3 times.
When I go to bed, I close my eyes, that's all I see is that winner's circle there with the red roses. It is the dream of everybody in racing.
Featherbox has the bloodlines. His grandsire, Pleasant Colony, won the Wood and the Kentucky Derby.
He doesn't have to be a star to be my hero. He doesn't have to win the Wood Memorial for me to have confidence. But I know if he bounced out of the Wood Memorial race good, he's going to be on the board in the Derby. I know that.
Well, Featherbox, and there is Angel Cordero Jr., all dressed up in his trainer's clothes. We're so much more used to seeing him in his jockey garb. Featherbox on the track right now. That is the horse trained by Cordero. He's a long shot like every other horse in the race, except the favorite, Unbridled Song. All of them figuring to have no chance at all. Jim Ryerson, you got an odds-on favorite here today, and we were saying that he seems to be over any emotional problems he used to have. Is that about right?
Well, he's not over them, but he's getting better about them, and, you know, he seems like he's dealt with Aqueduct fine, but we'll just see how it goes today, and then we'll go on to Kentucky. But
what have you been doing to get him out of those bad habits?
Well, Gulfstream's a tough racetrack in terms of there's a holding barn before the race, and it kind of gets a horse really stirred up. And you know, here he's been much better, I think, and you know, he's acting up not too bad. You know, he's playing a little. Oops.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
And. But we got to keep him moving.
You see anybody in this field who could give him a problem?
No, he's good. I mean, I think if they stop him, he might be, but Mike's got to keep him moving now.
Okay, thank you very much. Jim Ryerson, the trainer of the favorite Unbridled Song. Now let's take one final look at the odds here at Aqueduct. Romano Gucci at 4-1 now. Unbridled Song at 1-9. That's as low as it can get. Secreto de Estado 60-1. Harrowman 45-1. Featherbox 20-1. And In Contention at 12-1. So Romano Gucci, fairly strong second choice when you figure how overwhelming the favorite is expected to be. They're very close to the starting gate now, so let's go upstairs to Dave Johnson. Okay, Dave.
Overwhelming choice, 1-9. Favorites have done very well in the Wood Memorial. As a matter of fact, 44% of the time they've come home the winner. But they've not been as successful going from a win in the Wood to a win in the Kentucky Derby. Only 4 in the last 50 years. You have to go back to Pleasant Colony 15 years ago for that one. There goes Romano Gucci, and here is Unbridled Song. We have wireless microphones on Mike Smith, who rides Unbridled Song, and Richard Migliori aboard Featherbox.
Open the doors, Bob.
Come on, get up in the hole. Come on. He's being grabbed.
Smith has won the Wood twice, but has never won the Kentucky Derby. 3 behind the gate. Jim Ryerson, Angel Cordero. All of these are 3-year-olds. They carry 123 pounds, 3 less than they'll carry in the Kentucky Derby. In Contention is in, 6 of them ready to go. Fast track. And they're off, and Unbridled Song pops away quickly. Romano Gucci along the inside to challenge early. Those two hook up as they head to the clubhouse turn, and with Julie Crone aboard, Romano Gucci a bit wide there at the first turn, has the lead and is in front by 1 length. Smith on the outside with Unbridled Song inches up a closer second. Then it's a gap of 3 back to Harrowman in the green and white colors in 3rd position. On the outside, Featherbox gains in 4th. At the rail, Secreto de Estado is next, and at the back of the pack, In Contention. It's about 8 lengths from front to back as they move down the backstretch, first quarter in 23-2. And the battle still continues on the front end. Romano Gucci on the inside leads it by a head, and Unbridled Song on the outside is second, but they're not going that fast. The half was in 47-1. But those two have now drawn away from the other 4 in the contest. There's a gap of 6 lengths, make it 7 lengths back to Harrowman, who's racing 3rd. But now Unbridled Song on the outside takes command. Romano Gucci on the inside is second right there. 6 lengths farther back, Harrowman, then comes Featherbox. In Contention, Secreto de Estado is the trailer. As they move to the top of the stretch, it's an easy lead that Mike Smith has with Unbridled Song, getting 3/4 of a mile in an easy 1:11-1. Straightening away in the stretch, Unbridled Song in front by 2 lengths. On the outside, Romano Gucci from the back of the pack, In Contention, and that's where any competition for the horse on the front, Unbridled Song, is going to come from. And down the stretch they come in the Wood. Unbridled Song now being roused in front by 2. In Contention on the outside, second best today. Unbridled Song wins the Wood at 1-5 and goes to Kentucky as a heavy favorite in this year's Run for the Roses. There's Jim Ryerson. There's Unbridled Song, your Kentucky Derby favorite. Jim?
No question about it. Jim Ryerson, a much more relaxed man at this moment, I think, than he was before the race. He seemed a little tense, actually, at that time. Well, there he is, Charlesy, favorite for the Derby.
And, Jim, that was just the easiest sort of victory. Not only did he win in hand with just a little bit of a rouse from In Contention at the end, but he did it so fluidly and smoothly. I swear you could take a cup of coffee and balance on Mike Smith's back. This horse covers the ground so effortlessly.
When he gets to Kentucky, of course, he'll be having to conquer a long-standing jinx. No favorite has won the Kentucky Derby since Spectacular Bid in 1979, 17 years ago. But there he is, and he's going to be a very solid favorite when he gets there. But now, Skip Away will be the talked-about horse also for the next couple of weeks, having won the Wood Memorial, having won the Bluegrass today. All right, let's take a look at him as he comes down the stretch, and let's...
Well, at this point, he's put away Romano Gucci, and he's sort of coasting along on a very easy lead. In Contention will be mounting a run here, but Mike Smith looks back and says, oh, fella, we're not quite through yet, and kind of gets him going again. The question is, what he needed to do here was get enough out of this race without taking too much out of him. He almost phoned this one in, Jim.
Okay, Dave Johnson.
Let's take a look at this horse as he glides to the front. And watch, he doesn't have any extra motion. He's not throwing his legs all over the place. He keeps just his hoofs just a little bit off the ground. And when Mike Smith asks for the acceleration, in true professional racehorse style, Unbridled Song leaves Romano Gucci. At that point, the favorite was probably getting a little bored. And at that point, Mike Smith roused him. And from the back of the pack, 6th as they turn for home, here comes In Contention with Tony Black eating up the ground. But by this time, Unbridled Song was in gear again. And although the time was slow, the way that this horse does it is very, very impressive. Trained by Jim Ryerson, let's see what his reaction was to the victory.
Well, Jim Ryerson's been standing here watching his own reaction after the race. Did you know that you were that excited?
I was, I didn't jump on Buzz like the other week. I was just a little concerned in the lane when the horses started running at him, but he, you know, it looked like he was real relaxed today, and he just kind of, went through, got the job done, and that's good. I mean, that he can do that too, and hopefully he'll come off of this, improve, and because he's, and run his race in the dirt.
Okay, Ernie Paragallo, congratulations to you, the owner of Unbridled Song. You've had a lot of horses, but you've got the favorite for the Kentucky Derby. Has that sunk in?
Yeah, it's sunk in. I realized that for a while. I mean, we got exactly what we wanted out of this race. We wanted him to be 85%, and I think that's what he ran, about 85%. And
okay, let's ask Mike Smith. Is that what he was, about 85% of what he can run? Time is not fast at all, 1:49 4.
No, it wasn't a fast time, but Jim's done a great job of letting this horse just get fit off of his races. Every race has been a step forward, and that's what we're doing here today. He fell asleep with me a little bit when I left Romano Gucci there around the turn, and I didn't call on him until I had to late in the race, and he went ahead and jumped back in the bridle, so that was fine. I let him gallop out good. He come back great, and hope we're heading for Kentucky. Just gotta hope, good Lord's willing, we'll hopefully do it all over again.
You may have forgotten, but we had a mic on you during the race, and here's what you had to say after the race.
I hope it will. I wasn't doing no bad. Great.
No, it's just
when I made the lead, he kind of got a little bored, man. He got to waiting, and I was like, I hear somebody coming. We better pick it up. Hey, gracias, Pop.
What'd you say? I hear somebody coming. I better pick it up.
Okay. I said, oh well, he's like I said, he sold so much out of the bridle, and I went ahead and took a look back, and good thing they were starting to make a little run at him, and as soon as I shook him up a bit, he jumped back into it, and everything was fine.
Okay, let's take a look at the final order of finish. It was no competition in the end. And here it is, Unbridled Song, followed by In Contention, Romano Gucci, Secreto de Estado, Featherbox, and Harrow Man. Again, the winner, Unbridled Song, on his way to Churchill Downs in the Kentucky Derby. And we'll be there, too. This is Jim McKay saying so long from Aqueduct.